All right, welcome back to Happy Hour with Heather and Guest. I'm that other dude, Andrew, rocking my old school Freddy Krueger fedora.
Yeah.
As always, I'm joined by Heather, who's in the base command of the show, wearing
Yeah.
her Aria Speedwagon tee. Awesome. And today on episode 86, we're going to be talking about a group called Black Spell and Mark Kitchen's solo project called Slow Draw. And
Yeah.
off mic, you had suggested we talk about Slow Draw first, so let's do it.
Let's do
Uh,
it.
Mark Kitchens has had this project for a while. He's put out a bunch of albums. Um, he's also in another band whose name is escaping me right now.
Stone Machine Electric.
Yes, that's right, Stone Machine Electric.
Yeah.
Um, both projects are out of Hurst, Texas, which I had not heard of before I knew Mark. But Hurst, Texas, and I found this on Bandcamp. I thought this was a good description. Um, Slow draw is an apt descriptor for its own relaxed presence. The project provides ambient soundscapes, lightly steeped in exploratory psych, and the meditative, drawn out cadence of drone. So, if you wanted a textbook definition of the band, then that's it. Um, so, what did you think of Slow Draw's latest contribution?
Oh, I enjoyed it. It's called the Mystic Crib, and it's releasing in November, and the pre-order is up on Bandcamp right now, so you can pre-order it now. There will be CDs and a 7-inch lathe cut record for a single, which is going to be a limited edition. Slow Draw made the theme song for our show, which I'll always be grateful for. I always enjoy listening to Slow Draw albums. I'm grateful that Mark continues to send them to us and that he trusts us to talk about his music. You can tell how creative Mark is by the names of the songs, and some of my favorites, Daily Jacuzzi, Embroidered Waistcoats, Invisible Entities Stealing Thunder. I think I like that one the best. Legitimate Wizard. And there's several songs with the name Mystic Crib in the title, which I thought was interesting. But the music is very soothing and relaxing. I could see it helping with meditation or maybe a gentle yoga practice or maybe stretching, but it's very imaginative, and the creativity really shines through the music. And my suggestion is you definitely hit that pre-order button on Bandcamp, like right now.
Yeah, I would agree. Hit pause on this video, go to Bandcamp, pre-order Mystic Crib or the Mystic Crib. You won't regret it. When I was growing up in New York City, near where I went to high school and middle school, because I went to the same place for all 12 years, there was a burger pizza joint that was like an Upper West Side landmark called Big Nick's. And when you walked in there, there was just a sense of relaxation because you knew you were going to get a terrific slice or a great burger or both. And when I throw on a slow draw record, I get that same feeling of just relaxation. Like it's like meeting up with an old friend. Like you know you're just going to have some. That's the other cool thing is I have no idea how he's going to do it, like what instruments he's going to use, but he's able to create this really relaxing soundscape that's really it's like a really cool. This one particularly is like a really cool 70s era throwback. Like I sort of feel like you could be watching Shaft or Superfly or any of those late early 70s movies, and this would be on in the background during a montage. um, Like you, I took notice of the song titles immediately, and my favorites were some of your favorites as well, like Daily Jacuzzi Weekly. I thought was great. Legitimate Wizard, as you mentioned, and Invisible Entities Stealing Thunder. So the titles are provocative, and the music is really cool. It's very mellow. Some of the songs I wrote down are guitar driven, where it's sort of the germ of the idea you could see came from just noodling around on a guitar. And some of them are keyboard. I think there was some organ in there. But I plan on getting a timeshare at the Mystic Crib if they're being offered, or just buying property outright, because I want to be spending time at the Mystic Crib. So
Yeah. Sounds like an awesome place.
it does. I also feel now, for those of you, well, I've never really talked about this before. I never really enjoyed smoking weed when I was younger because my extremities would go numb, and I didn't really enjoy that feeling. Recently, I tried edibles. I tried 5 milligrams, which was I think it was a little bit, I'm probably good at like a half milligram, but I bring all this up only because I feel like throwing on the Mystic Crib while doing edibles would probably be a great time.
Yeah.
You discover nuances within the songs that you didn't notice right before. But it's also a really relaxing type of thing. So, of course, you could listen to it without any sort of narcotic or alcohol or anything, and still have a good time. But if you
Yeah.
chose to dive into the deep end, then this would also be a great way to do it.
Yeah. And I'm pro edibles. So
Yeah,
that sounds like a great idea, actually.
I think so. I think so. I think it's important to be familiar with your number
Yeah.
of milligram, but
Yeah.
also find the right musical pairing. I think slow draw would be a great time to just mellow out, relax, kick back, listen to the album from start to finish, and
Yeah.
you are good.
Sounds
The
like a great time.
I agree. Now the next band, I don't think I would want to listen to them while trying to enjoy a mellow evening of edibles. Um, that might be clear, just because I feel like, so the next band is called Black Spell. They are from Italy, and on Bandcamp they are simply titled as Evil Doom. So for someone like me who has OCD tendencies and tends to get lost in their own thoughts while consuming edibles, I think putting on music that's considered Evil Doom is just a bad combo. So, but what did you think of Black Spell?
Well, I thought this is a definitely more traditional doom that has a lot of distortion and is what I would describe as more dirty sounding. I was really surprised to read that they've been a band for just 3 years. They have quite the output for a band that's been together for a relatively short period of time. When I listened, I felt like I was a character in a horror movie that seems to be running at slow speed. And then the zombie catches up to the zombie catches up to me. I really dug the single, the Walpurgis Night, and there's also a cover of Doom Mantra originally by Electric Wizard. I thought that was pretty cool. And I know about Walpurgis Night because Joe Bob Briggs had a special on the last drive-in, and lots of times it's referred to as the second Halloween. It's recognized as the time when the veil between the living and the dead is at its thinnest, and departed loved ones can return to visit, but you may also have to ward off evil spirits that may try to get through. So there's like this whole festival, and it was interesting because I looked it up on the internet, and a lot of countries, a lot of different countries have different celebrations, and they celebrate it in different ways, which I thought was pretty cool. But all of this fits perfectly with this band, which is an occult doom band, and I think this just everything about it is kind of mysterious, and it just fits perfectly.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure that I saw their album, the self-titled album that came out in 2020, just called Black Spell. I'm pretty sure I saw that like on a year-end list or um, some sort of like grouping albums you should hear, and I think that's what put them on my radar. I don't remember what it was specifically, but yeah, I was surprised. Not that I hadn't heard of them, but just how prolific they've been in only 3 years. Um, their self-titled album came out in December of 2020, and it is really cool traditional doom with sort of an occult feel to it. Personally, I dug the track "The Queen Witch." That was my favorite off that one. They released "The Purple Skull" in November of 2021, "Season of the Damned" in November of 2022. If you haven't gotten the sense of the type of music they play from the names of their albums, then you're probably playing at the wrong field. They released their most recent single is called "Black Chains of Death," which came out this year, and the tone of it, I felt like it was forged in the river Styx in Hades. It's such a thick, ominous tone. I don't know what sort of calibration you'd need to find that on an amp, like where the dials would need to be spun. Like probably you'd cast a spell and that's what you would come up with. I don't think it's humanly possible to create that tone otherwise. Of course, I might just be whistling Dixie, but and then yeah, uh, off of Season of the Damned, I thought my favorite title was called "Temple of Drugged Sorceries," which I have no idea what that means, but it sounds really cool. Um, and then yeah, Walpurgis Night. It's so funny that was what you brought up because I was going to bring that up, and I was like, okay, this is yet another reason why we work so well together because we're both the Geiger counter goes off on the same subjects. So originally, War Pigs by Black Sabbath was going to be called Walpurgis, but I don't remember the reason why they changed it. But that's also the why the lyrics "generals gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses," because originally it was going to be. And I think the first time I heard Walpurgis was in the Edward Albee play, "Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf," that I read in high school. There's a section of the play titled Walpurgisnacht, which I think in German means Walpurgis Night. So, but yeah, I mean, anything having to do with the occult and I just want to say Walpurgis again because that's fun to say. Um, but yeah, this was my contractually obligated tangent that went nowhere. That's why I felt the need to bring it up. But yeah, only been around for like 3 years, and yet they've put out 3 full-length albums and a couple singles, and really a cool throwback. It's also interesting that you mentioned that they covered an Electric Wizard song because as I was listening to it, I was like, this kind of reminds me of Electric Wizard, like early Electric Wizard. Um, so if you're a fan of that type of Doom, then I feel like Black Spell is a natural fit for you. So I would definitely go check them out. it's sort of like Black Spell would be great to listen to for if you're in a certain mood, and then Slow Draw would be like the counterpart for like the opposite mood.
Yeah,
So
they're like on opposite sides of the spectrum.
yeah, yeah. So whatever side of the spectrum you're feeling that night, we've got you covered with Slow Draw or Black Spell. Um, you'll find something that you dig within both of those. If you're feeling mellow, or if you're feeling unmellow, or whatever the. Oh, there is one other thing I said. As I was listening, as I made it to the third album of Black Spell, and I began listening to multiple tracks, I wrote down the sort of stuff you're like, yeah, we probably shouldn't play this backward.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
you might summon something.
I mean, yeah, they're like you know, not only because they're from Italy and they're like in the 70s, there was a ton of Italian horrors that came out that were really cutting edge. I sort of felt like this music sounded so ominous to me that I just felt there was something like forces going on that I just didn't want to mess with. And I was glad to listen to the music, but I will not be playing it backward. So,
Yeah, I
but,
think that's
but
smart.
yes, but either way, check out all of Slow Draw's catalog. As Heather mentioned, Mark was gracious enough to make the theme song for the show, titled HHHG Quadruple F, um, which is great. That's also available if you want to get that. And then Black Spell, you really can't go wrong with any of their albums. So be sure to check all that stuff out.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that's going to do it for us.
I think so. I think
Awesome.
so.
Yeah. Well, this was my pick this week. So next week we'll go back with Heather um, for
Yeah,
episode 87.
and next week is something way more up your alley. Some Louisiana sludge.
Nice. I like my Louisiana sludge.
Yeah.
Um,
I think you're gonna dig it.
you had me at Louisiana sludge.
I figured.
Well, it was also funny because earlier when we were talking, you said, "Don't worry, it's not heavy psych."
Yeah, I'm gonna get off the heavy psych train.
You know,
So
you're allowed to ride.
there's no more heavy psych coming.
You're allowed to ride first
I'm
class on that. You can ride first class on the heavy psych train, and that's all we can.
no.
I love heavy psych. Yeah, no, it was. I think it was funny that we happened to listen to like a few of them in a row, but even if we wanted to make this show entirely heavy psych, I would be cool with that.
Oh, you lie.
No. I would. I like variety, sure, but your your ability to find really cool bands is like unparalleled. So
Well, I actually had a heavy, not for next. Well, yeah. Well, I actually had a heavy, I actually had a heavy psych band on the calendar, and I took it off because I'm like, nah, we don't need to do any more heavy psych. I think we've covered that.
I mean, I'm happy to do anything that you think is good music, regardless of the genre. So
Yeah.
if you want to revisit heavy psych, you have carte blanche.
Well, thank you.
All right. Cool. Well, we will see you all next week for episode number 87. It shan't. It'll be some Louisiana sludge. It shan't be heavy psych, but we may return to heavy psych sooner than you think. All right. Well, have a good one.
You too. Bye.